Okay, checking in on the 3 plants. Looking pretty good so far. All 3 have sprouted from the medium, and all 3 still have their hulls on. We got the permanent midnight on the left, Cali critical mass on the right, and then we got the grape balls of fire reverse back cross up front here. All right, got them out of the tent onto my workstation. We're gonna mark this day 1 seedling. All 3 just popped from the soil. Definitely still moisture in these cups, so I don't need to water them. I actually probably won't need to water them for at least 5 to 7 days. That's typically the length of time that moisture stays in these solo cups before I have to add water to them. Sometimes I'll come in if the top of the medium is moist and I will spray the top of the medium. But yeah, overall looking pretty good, and we'll check in a day or two. All right, we are on day 6 since sprout, and I didn't film anything the past couple days because I didn't do anything to these plants the past couple days, but figured I'd pull them out today and talk about some things that are going on with them. First off, all of them are looking beautiful. It's exactly how I expect them to be on day 6 since sprouting from the medium. Zooming in closely to the permanent midnight, you can see the seed hull on the leaf there. That's the cotyledon leaf. And I'm gonna go ahead and knock this seed hull off. There's no need for it to be on there anymore. So I knocked the seed hull off of the cotyledon leaf there. These 2 leaves right here are cotyledon leaves. They're the first 2 leaves to actually show, nicknamed the feeder leaves. So basically the plant will sprout from the medium, and this main stem here is called the hypocotyl. Average height is about 1.5 inches long. If it's any longer than that, that's usually abnormal stretching. Typically in that case, you want to bring the light closer. But this one looks great for day 6. Going over to the grape balls of fire, you can see that the seed hull is still attached to this one as well. Everything is looking good with this plant as well. And like I mentioned, I haven't done anything with these plants for the past couple days. That includes not spraying the top of the medium. So I know oftentimes in my videos, I mention that I come in each day and check to see if the top of the medium is dry. If so, I'll give it a light spray. But oftentimes that's not really a mandatory thing that you have to do. These ones really didn't need it. And when I lift up the cups, there is still some moisture in there, and that's something that actually takes practice to really know when the soil is bone dry or if there's still some moisture left, and there's still a little bit of moisture left in here. So I'm not gonna water it because these seedlings are very sensitive at this point. If I were to just water these plants right here, pretty high risk that these would be overwatered, there would be a lack of oxygen in the root zone, and then these seedlings would be stunted. So instead of actually doing a bottom watering or watering from the top, now I will actually do a spray of the top. It'll be a real light spray just to moisten and have a little bit seep down, but not to the point where it's gonna be overwatered. Just a quick spray like that should be good. You can see the Cali critical mass also has the seed hull still on there. Made for a really cool picture. Go ahead and pull it off right now. There's no need for it to be on there. Perfect. And yeah, not too much else to say about these seedlings. Let's check in a day or two and see how they look from there. Day 11 since sprout, and I haven't had to do much since the last update on day 6. The moisture that was left in there and the light spray I did was sufficient to bring it up to date here. So I haven't done anything since then. It's just been under a T24 LED grow light, giving about 300 to 400 ppfd of par, which is where I like it to be for the seedling stage. And you can see everything looks beautiful here. So lots of growth has happened since then, and you can see it is really starting to dry up. Now is definitely a good time for a watering. You can see there's a little bit of separation that happens between the side of the container and the soil. That's an indication that things have been drying out. It feels light, so I am gonna hit all of these with some water today. But you can see they're not overly drooping down as if they're underwatered. So now is a perfect time to do it. And yeah, day 11 since sprout, this is normal growth that I experience. And at this point, some people would actually transplant up into the next containers. So typically between days 10 and 14 is when I like to transplant. Now, a rule that I've gone by in the past, I hear many people still go by, is if the leaves are towards the outer end of the cup or touching the cup, that's a good time to transplant. So this one's almost there. This one is pretty much there. This one, just shy of it. I'm gonna personally leave these in this container for a few more days. Maybe day 14, we'll see what the growth looks like, and maybe at that point we will transplant. But But yeah, some people would transplant this early. I've done it in the past, and sometimes what happens is you remove it from the container and the root ball isn't as established as one would typically like it to be, where it's holding the soil together. So it's easy to remove it from the container, all of a sudden all the soil falls apart, which is not a fun transplant. So I'm gonna give it a little bit more time in these containers and then transplant after that. So I'm not gonna actually drench the medium with water. What I'm gonna do is come in with the spray again. Just enough to kind of pull up on the top there and kind of settle down into the medium. That should be enough without over watering. Drenching the root zone at this point, some people do it and you can get away with it, but these seedlings are still delicate. And so I like to be real gentle with them. And that even includes being gentle with their watering. So that's even running right through the soil and dripping down there. You can see it a little bit. Yeah, this should be all right. This is just a little bit of water in here. Let's see what it looks like in a day or two. If I need to come in here tomorrow or the day after and it feels light again, okay, I'll go ahead and I'll spray the top again, have it seep down a little bit, and that'll prevent the overwatering symptoms from happening. One other thing I do want to point out with these plants is this wavy leaf right here. Now, some people see waviness in leaves. I'm not sure how well the camera picks this up, but it looks a little wavy, which is the best way I can explain it. That's really not a problem. Now, I've had plants that I've overwatered and it's been waviness, so one may say this is the starting symptoms of overwatering, but so many seedlings have this waviness in their leaves and they grow out of it, really. So if you're experiencing that, I wouldn't panic. These plants should definitely grow out of it and be just fine. Let's zoom in a little bit more here, see what we can get. Here's the great balls of fire zoomed in, looking pretty good. As far as the temperature and humidity, temperature I've been running is about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't have Celsius memorized, so I'll put it on the screen right now for you. This is the Cali critical mass. And then relative humidity, I've had it about 70 to 75%, which according to the VPT chart is in the dark green range. There's permanent midnight there. All right, that's all I have to cover in this update. Let's check in a few more days and see how they look. Big shout out to AC Infinity for sponsoring this video. You can use discount code MrGrowIt15 to save on any of their gardening products. If you're new to growing cannabis, I wrote a book called 7 Steps to Grow Cannabis, which will guide you through your grow. I also wrote a book called Organic Cannabis Cultivation, which is growing with organic inputs. You can get them off my website, MrGrowIt.com, or click through the links in the video description section below. When the next video in this series is released, it'll be on the screen right now. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace out, everyone.